everyone. So this morning James and I have had some technical issues trying to get Padfoot Live going for you guys this morning. So it is now just me while James films me because he's the lucky one who gets to be behind the camera.
Morning!
So this morning we thought we'd just have a little bit of a chat about puppies. So this is a common kind of topic that get brought up to us obviously when people bring new puppies home. So we're just going to have a chat today about kind of some of the stuff that you want to get set up and sorted out before you're coming into puppy classes and getting more direct advice from someone like James and I. So the first thing that we had there is toilet training and crates. So James and I would always recommend anyone with a puppy, they start crate training immediately. There's multiple reasons we do this, from tapping into their instinct to want to have that safe den-like space, helping them learn to be calm in certain spaces. And the big one is it's so helpful for toilet training when you have puppies. So like I mentioned before, tapping into that den instinct, dogs don't want to, excuse my language, shit where they sleep. It's just they don't want to. So when we put our dogs in a crate, the idea is that they have just enough room so that they can stand up, turn around, but that's it. They don't have enough room so that they can use one end of the crate as a toilet and the other end of the crate as their bed, and kind of, sure they're not enjoying that, but they can make it work. We really want to make it so that it's, not convenient for them to use the crate for their toilet space. Other than that, it's just a case of getting them on a really nice schedule. So when your puppies, you bring them straight home, I wouldn't be giving them an opportunity to be making mistakes inside the house. They're either in the crate, they've been to the toilet, and you're watching them, or they go back into the crate. So there's just no options for them to make mistakes. Set them up on a schedule, so you're taking them out, every hour, I would say at least. When they're really young, every half an hour when they're really active, after they've had a big play, after they've had a big sniff, after they wake up, after they have a drink. It's just, the list goes on and on and on. So get yourself on a really good schedule, similar to, I guess, like a baby. And just, if you start from the get-go with that toilet training, it should only take a couple of weeks for them to kind of figure it out. Of course, we have to give allowances for their bladders, and they aren't able to hold a full bladder all night long just yet. So, we have to keep that in mind, but they shouldn't be making mistakes if we're setting them up right. That leads pretty well into expectations. So we find a lot of people come to us with questions of, how I fix this behavior, how to fix that, and it's like, well, how old is your dog and what should you really be expecting from them at that point? If you have a 12, 10, 14-week-old puppy, we can't really be expecting them to make great decisions all on their own. We haven't taught them to yet. They haven't had the life experiences. Their attention span isn't quite there yet. So, if your dog's, you're taking your little puppy down to the beach and they're ignoring you and not coming to you when you call them, or they're running off and getting distracted easily, that is to be expected. I wouldn't have the expectation that, I've spent a week getting to know my puppy and I'm going to take him down. He's going to know he has to stay with me when we go out to new exciting places, especially when there's all these distractions. Just kind of take it easy on them, guys. Like, dogs aren't pre-programmed. They don't just have this instruction manual in their head of what they need to do. We have to go through and make sure we're communicating and teaching all these things to them before we can expect them to kind of follow those rules or boundaries. Chewing. So chewing is a big issue. People come to us, again, with those expectations. Puppies are gonna chew. The best thing you can do right from the get-go, guys, is teach them what they can chew. They are going to need to chew something. Puppies teeth, they need to mouth things, they get bored. It's a very natural behavior for them. Get them some deer antlers and some nice little puppy chew toys. We've got the soda pup toys, there's a puppy range in there. Things that they are allowed to chew on. Communicate to them like, this is what this is what you can have. And then when they're chewing something that they're not supposed to have, again, communicating clearly with a no and redirecting back to the thing that they are allowed to have. Chewing is one of those things where we are not going to stop your dog from chewing. James and I, you can hire us and tell us we're not going to stop your dog from chewing. It's not going to happen. What we're going to do is we're going to help you and your dog find a way that it works for both of you. He likes to chew. You don't want him to chew on certain things, so we're going to find a compromise. You can get that going again right from the beginning with your puppy, so they know you're all sorted. So past kind of like the home behaviors. I would say toilet training, chewing, overexcitedness, those are kind of the main issues we have with puppies. Those are all, we need to manage our expectations, be clear, set up, puppy-worthy routines. Then we start looking into, okay, well, how do we have a great dog out in the real world? Socialization is obviously the biggest thing that we want to be working on. And I guess one of the comments I want to make is I feel like everyone kind of understands the idea of getting their dog to go out and learn to play with other dogs. And that's great, that's fantastic, that's part of it. But we also need to be teaching our dogs how to be calm around other dogs, how to ignore other dogs, how to focus on us when there's all these other distractions. And it doesn't actually all have to be with dogs or people either. Go out and take your dog, sit out front of Woolies and have some shopping trolleys go past and tell them how good they are. Go sit outside the school while kids are playing ball. And there's so many different things that we need to kind of socialise our dogs to. Just think, what are the things that your dog is likely to experience on a regular basis throughout its life? We want to introduce them young and get them comfortable with them. And so I guess that's the main point I want to make of socialization, is it's not all just about the dog learning to play with other dogs or meeting 100 different people. In fact, sometimes it's exactly the opposite. And then, of course, we want everyone to get into a training course. So, of course, James and I would love if you came and saw us and booked into our foundation course. But I highly advise that everyone, you look and you find a trainer that works for you. And then get your puppy into it. Group classes are great not only for the obedience skills that you're learning, like you sit and you drop and you come and you stay, but going back to that socialization and that focus is fantastic. You have all these puppies and these people, and especially on the field where we train, school lunches that have been dropped and little smells of kids everywhere. There's always distractions that our dogs then learn how to focus on us around. And we then become the most valuable thing in these different environments. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't know what you, James, that's all I want. I just want my dogs to see me as the most important thing. I want them to be listening, paying attention, and happy to come and be around me.
Absolutely.
Do you have anything to add?
No, I think you've done a great job.
Awesome. So it's been a little bit of a short one this morning, guys. As usual, if you have any questions, please post them in those comments. We'll get through and answer them or cover them in next week's live. If you have a puppy sitting at home, please book them into our foundation course. We would love to see them there. It's fantastic for everyone.
Next round of courses in Budderam starts on the 13th of September.
Yep, 13th of September, guys. So you've got some time. Get in there. And obviously, if you have more pertinent issues, contact James or I for some private training or whatever you need. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week. Hopefully, James will be back with me.